That is a cool theme, isn't it? We should just play that for half an hour next time. It is 19 minutes after the hour, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley Thursday edition. My guest today is a recent Wenatchee High School graduate. He's in his second year at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University, and his goal, Bryce, as you told us, is to be a network correspondent, which means you get to travel all over the United States and all over the world and report on things going on.
All week long.
How long have you had this dream?
It's been a long time, actually. When I was 7, Casey Drescher, she was a summer camp counselor at a camp for the Wenatchee School District, and she was going to school to be a news anchor at Washington State University, and I asked her, what does that mean? She said, the people who are on TV and give you the news. And I said, well, anyone can be on TV.
Obviously, look at me.
So now Casey works in Alabama. She's on TV down in Alabama, and we still keep in touch every once in a while. So
you caught the bug early.
Yeah.
So to be a good network news correspondent, to be a good journalist for that matter, you have to have a natural curiosity. You have to care what's going on. You have to give a damn. So you obviously follow the news closely. Mm-hmm. You like to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's harder now, like, to watch the morning news, but social media and Facebook and all the time, I'm able to just watch and keep up with that. We always play CNN at the Cronkite School. Also, it's always blaring in the First Amendment Forum, we call it. So we're always having the news on.
So obviously, through middle school and high school, okay, I want to do this. I want to be a network correspondent. Then you had to pick a college, and you picked Arizona State for that very reason. Why did Arizona State become your choice of college?
It was actually my only choice. It was the only school I applied to, and it was because I had visited and kind of kept in touch with one of the deans there, and then when it came time to apply, I knew that that's where I wanted to go, and the application was very simple, which I know college applications can be, a long process, but it wasn't, so at least there.
Once you get your foot in the door, and we're hoping, obviously, Bryce, that you become very successful in your future endeavors, it's a pretty nomadic existence. You start in a small market, and then you want to work your way up to the larger markets. Are you ready for that part of a lifestyle? I mean, you're going to live out of a suitcase for a decade or so.
Yeah, no, definitely. My parents were asking me this week, have you kind of decided what kind of car you might want? And I was like, no, I don't want a car because, like you said, there's so much moving, and it's just difficult to kind of move around all the time, like you said, out of a suitcase. Is there
any, do you just want to do general interest stories, warm and fuzzies? Because when you talk at network correspondence, and that's your ultimate goal, to be a network correspondent, they have their law correspondent, and they have their weather correspondent, and they have these, they have the correspondents who specialize in a specific field of journalism. Is there anything there that interests you, or?
My minor's in criminology and criminal justice, so more of the legal courts investigative side. I like it all. I host an entertainment show at Arizona State, so that's very different, obviously, but it's still a lot of fun. I like that, too.
Well, here's my goal. Replace that Keith Morrison guy.
On Dateline?
Yeah, he I don't know. He's kind of, have you met him? I don't want to cast aspersions. I mean,
no.
He's just weird. He strikes me as a strange guy.
Yeah.
He looks like the groom on top of a wedding cake.
He does a great job.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
All over the place.
But if you can replace Keith Morrison on Dateline right away, like tomorrow, I would be much appreciated. I appreciate that. You're going to be working for us here at the NCW Life Channel until early January. Last night you took that tour of Wenatchee High School because, of course, they're considering floating a major bond, $160-some-odd million bond to modernize an aging facility. You went to Wenatchee High School. I went to Wenatchee High School. We have some footage. You and Jay Seebeck tagged along as they toured Wenatchee High School. As we show this footage, tell me your impressions and what would you like to see?
Well, you can see in some of this footage that the classrooms are very small. The hallways are cramped. It's hard to get around. This is showing now the portables. There's at least 5 portables, and there's students that have to go out there and take their classes. This hallway looks really wide, but actually it's a pinch point because this is where all of the core classes flow into. And at the end of that shot, there's a hole at the top of the ceiling. That's a classroom where the voices of students from in the hallway, see right here, you can't hear because there's students walking by. And the tour was not a bunch of people, but some of the people who were on the tour even said out loud, this is unbelievable. That's a classroom right there, very small, tight areas, and no windows like you can see.
No windows. That was part of the initial design. I don't think they wanted kids to just stare out the window and not pay attention to the class, because one of those things that people noticed when they went to Wenatchee High School, there are no windows in the classrooms. There are none. You're in a box. so to speak. And of course, for anybody who goes to the Wenatchee High School, not as a student, but just as a member of the general public, they don't get to see most of the campus. They're either in the gymnasium to see a sporting event, or the auditorium to see something being put on in the auditorium, or maybe in the administration or counseling areas to pick up a sick kid or whatever. They don't get to see the classrooms. They don't get to see the LGI or the science labs or anything, because that's not really part of the deal. And they don't understand really how small those classrooms are. They're tiny.
Yeah, they are. And like you saw at the end of that, there's the office area, like you were mentioning, that was remodeled in 2004. So the school is much older than that, and the walls inside are definitely. One of the interviews we did was with John McQuaig, and he said, you know, no, this building isn't going to come in and collapse on us, but it would be nice if students had some space to actually learn.
Yeah, and they're thinking that, you know, I'm going to take off my journalistic hat and do a little editorializing here. I hope they float this bond, and I hope it passes with flying colors, and I hope they get this done, because it needs to be done. Wenatchee High School needs to be remodeled. It's been a while. So that's me. That's me and my soapbox. Sorry, kids. And you had to deal with an aging facility, because you just graduated a couple of years ago, right? With the class of
2015. Yeah.
2015. So
it was. We had a huge class,
yeah.
And then going from the high school to Arizona State University, that is a brand new building. We just opened that campus less than 10 years ago. So seeing like the opportunities in those classrooms and the type of technology and things that we're using now, it's crazy, just a big difference.
People of the Wenatchee School District, pass this bond. There, I'm off my soapbox. Let's move on. You interned this summer in Los Angeles for NBC. How did you get that gig?
So every year my school brings in recruiters from different networks, and I was kind of at the end of the internship hunt. It was late February, and it was the very last recruiting session. It was with NBC. And it was people that came from their LA office. They come every year. They were looking for sophomores or older. I was a freshman at the time, and I said, well, I talked to one of them personally afterwards, and I said, I'm a freshman. Here's my resume. Do you think that maybe I should still apply? It would be a good experience. And she said, yeah, just give it a shot. Well, then after that, it happened really quickly, and went through a video interview and talked with a recruiter in New York, and then the producer from LA did a phone interview, and then a week after it happened. So
that must have been really cool.
It was really cool. I was actually taking a final at the time that I got the phone call from New York, so I couldn't obviously answer it, but I can see on my phone that it's a New York area code. And so it was hard. I had to wait a whole day after that to find out, but it was suspenseful. And
you brought some photos with you. Chris, bring up some of the photos from your summer. Explain to me what we'll be looking at there, Bryce.
So this was the first weekend. I flew down actually by myself on a Sunday, started work on Monday. My mom came down the next weekend, and we got to go watch Jimmy Kimmel live. It was a lot of fun, and she helped me get moved in and settled. It was all helpful to have mom there and get
absolutely.
organized.
You were there for what, a couple of months?
Yep, 2.5 about.
Oh, hey, there's a good-looking woman.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood. You might recognize her in this dress, actually. It's from the opening of Sunday Night Football. She was there on set that day filming for Sunday Night Football, and different players, everybody who's in that opening number that you see were there. So we got to do a quick interview with her. And okay, everybody always talks about Carrie Underwood being, athletic and fit. In person, she's even smaller. I wish I had the picture to show.
I was going to say, because you're not a particularly big guy, and you're taller than she is. So she's fairly petite.
And she's in heels, huge heels there. I wish I had a picture to show. The heels went all the way up to her knees.
Can you give me her cell phone number?
I wish.
Okay.
She's very nice, and she smelled so good. That's what I always say.
Is she as pretty in real life as she is in?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then we have a picture of you, I believe, on the NBC News Los Angeles set. There you are.
Yeah, so it's really great. The NBC News Los Angeles Bureau has a pretty small Today Show staff. There's about 10 people working there. And so really, you get to work with all of them and get to know them well. So at the end of the internship, we got to do an anchor read. I took the stories that had been on the Today Show. They put them in the teleprompter, and I got to read them. And then correspondent Joe Fryer kind of came in and gave some tips and advice, and a few of the producers were in there, so it was a lot of fun, and it was kind of surreal sitting there, but Got it done. It wasn't too nerve-wracking. It was a lot of fun.
You're going to be interning for us through the probably early January. One of your jobs as an intern is to taste my food. Now, here's the deal. I got into the office today, and I was complaining the other day because the obscure holiday was Brownie Day, and nobody had brought me a brownie. I think this is a brownie. I'm not sure. It was just on my desk when I got in this morning. So as part of your duties is you're going to take a bite out of this, and if you don't become violently ill, because I do have enemies, go ahead and take a bite out of that and let me know if that's a brownie. And if it's good and you don't,
It's
you
like
know,
cake.
upcheck. Is it cake? I'll take it. Oh. How is it, Bryce?
It's good.
Is it? Okay.
It's really good.
Okay, I'm going to take a look. You're not keeling over. So let me see what we got here.
It's fresh.
Oh, that's good. That is a brownie. That's a brownie with frosting on it. And, oh, that's delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you for whoever brought me this ginormous brownie. Bryce, have a good time. Hang around.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in this early. I know you probly don't do.
I love early mornings.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Good.
Yeah.
You can't take my show away from me. Bryce Newberry.
eating.
Yeah, that's good. Thank
Yeah.
you for the brownie, whoever brought me the brownie. Tomorrow on this program, Arch Ecker, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, will be here for the Wenatchee Wild. They have a big weekend series coming up. Outside of that, we're going to take off the rest of the day and eat this brownie. Have a good Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.